everybody, welcome back to Listen, I Have an Idea. Today is the almost beginning of Booktubeathon 2018. I am so excited. So it is essentially a week-long reading challenge where you attempt to read 7 books in 7 days. This is one of the reasons why I decided not to do Camp NaNoWriMo this month. It's just because I've been so busy and Booktubeathon does take up a lot of time and I love doing it, and I also didn't want to miss out on doing it this year. So if you've never heard of it before, like I said, you read 7 books in 7 days and there's a whole bunch of challenges. There are categories for what books you're supposed to read, and there's also Instagram challenges and things that you can win, and there's Twitter sprints, and it's really fun and I absolutely love it. It's super interactive and I've met so many really interesting people through Booktubeathon. Okay, so here are all the challenges and what I'm going to be reading for it. So these 7 challenges consist of letting a coin toss pick your first book, or a book in general, reading a book about something that you want to do, reading and then watching a book to movie adaptation, reading a book with green on the cover, reading a book while wearing the same hat the entire time. Doesn't need to be in one sitting, you just need to be wearing the hat for the entire time you read that book. You also need to read a book that you think has a beautiful spine, and then of course the last challenge is to read 7 books. So the other day I went to Chapters and to Book Outlet to go purchase some of the books for this challenge because I wanted some new fresh reads for this week. So I vlogged a little bit while I was there and I will let you see which ones I picked up. You might be asking, Heidi, why are you going to go buy more books when you have bookshelves full of books? Well, I've read most of the books that I own, and B, I want to get a couple new ones because, I don't know, I like my TBR pile to have a beautiful spine. So anyways, I am out shopping today to go get those books. The first place is Book Outlet. The one in my town used to be a different store before Book Outlet took it over, and it's in an old silk factory. So I figured I would take you guys along, show you what it looks like, because this bookstore is super cool. I'm going to be going to other places afterwards to go pick up a couple more books, but I figured we'll start here. I have no idea where the young adult section is. Somewhere. It's a scratch and dent. So all of these books might have a little blemish, but they're super cheap. Here we go. Here it is. Oh, and there's Nora Roberts on this side. Oh, look at all this. I would pick one up, but I've already read them, and I read The Siren last year for Booktubeathon, and it was really good. I think I'm also gonna get this one. Okay, I see this one as I'm walking out, and it's a superhero book. I love this story. I think I'm gonna get this one too. Okay, Chapters is next. I am here in the parking lot. It looks like it's gonna start raining soon. Yeah. Also, they played one of my favorite songs on the radio. Just have to say that. That's lame. I'm so lame. That one is so pretty. In case you're wondering, I already picked up Renegades by Marissa Meyer. It's massive. So today I'm going to show you what books I'm going to be reading. Now the first book is going to be combining 2 of these categories together because honestly I just couldn't decide which book I wanted to read. So the first one, of course, is the coin toss one. I'm going to be deciding it with a toonie, and the books that I wanted to read are the ones for the book to movie adaptation category. The 2 that I found, which one of them I had on my shelf and the other one my sister had on hers, is Everything by Nicola Yoon, and then This Is Where I Leave You by Jonathan Tropper. I have seen this movie before, but I have been wanting to rewatch it, so I figured this would be the perfect time to read one of these books. So I figured I will let the fates decide which one I'm going to be reading. So I'm going to let this guy be the polar bear on the toonie, and then this guy be the queen. Are we ready? It is the queen. I don't know if you guys can see that. That means it's heads, and that means it's this one. So that's 2 challenges down. The next one is to read a book about something that you want to do. I am going to be rereading a book, and that's because I've been wanting to reread it. So essentially, I'm doing something I want to do, and I'm going to be rereading Runaway by Meg Cabot. This is a sci-fi thriller book, but it's also like a young adult, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it. It's really interesting though. And this is the only one in my TBR pile that I have read before. Earlier on in this video, you saw me pick up this book and I just couldn't pass it up. The cover was way too pretty, and this is going to be my book that I read that has green on the cover, and that is Wicked Like Wildfire by Lana Popovic. I love this cover. It is purple and floral and gorgeous, and I think it has something to do with witches. But I'm not 100% sure. So this is what I'm going to be reading for the green on the cover, and I think it's so pretty. Next, we have the book that I'm going to be reading while wearing the same hat the entire time. I probably should have grabbed my hat before I sat down to film. It's just going to be a regular black cap that says New York on it, but I figured since this is the challenge that we're kind of being a little bit rebellious, I figured it would be fitting to read Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. I love Rachel Hawkins. She has a series called Hex Hall that I fell in love with. That one's all about witches. I have no idea what this one's going to be about. I've had it in my iBooks library and on my actual bookshelf for probably about 4 years in my iBooks library and an entire year for the physical copy, but I haven't gotten around to reading it. So I figured this would be the perfect opportunity to put this one in my TBR pile and give it a go. The next challenge is to read a book with a beautiful spine. Now this one could be any book, but I decided upon this one, which I got at the book outlet, and that is Dance Upon the Air by Nora Roberts. She's also one of my favorite authors, and I mean the cover's beautiful, but the spine is also gorgeous. It transitions from like this peachy pink to this deep plum purple, and in the middle has a picture of a lady, which is the same lady that's on the front, and if you can see, puppy's right here. She approves of this one. And that leaves the last 2 books. Now these ones are not ones that I picked to follow a challenge, other than I thought that they would be interesting. So the first one you also saw me pick up at the book outlet, and that is Indigo. Now this one is by a variety of authors. When I was getting ready to film this video, I realized it's not just by one person, it's by a multiple author. And I think inside it says a mosaic novel. It literally says a mosaic novel. So I'm really interested to see what this one's about. I think it's about a superhero. Kind of looks like a female Spider-Man on the cover, but I mean the cover, the color of it is just gorgeous. And then to have it contrasted by this teal blue and the yellow, I just thought it would make a really interesting read. So I can't wait to pick this one up this week. And then the last book, of course, how could I not read this for a Booktubeathon? It is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I picked up Cinder and then I ended up reading Scarlet a couple Booktubeathons back. I fell in love with those books and that entire Lunar Chronicle series. So when she announced that she was releasing a new series, I immediately purchased it. I have it on my phone. Figured I might as well purchase the hardcover, put it on my shelf so I have her entire collection. In total, this entire week, I'm gonna be reading 2,605 pages. I'm up for the challenge. I don't think I read this many last year. Maybe I read a little bit more. I will have to go back and look at that. But anyways, those are the books that I'm going to be reading this week. I am so excited. Stay tuned for this week because I am going to be posting videos every single day, following along with the challenges or the YouTube challenges for the week. And I will also be posting on my Instagram all of the daily Instagram challenges. So I hope you guys enjoy. Thank you for following along, and I will see you tomorrow with the first challenge video. See you tomorrow. Bye.